Sup guys and gals, welcome to my channel, Killer Wolf here, and today I am back into doing the Finance Freddy's tutorials. Today I'm going to be doing a load of them, just constantly recording them today, and I will have to stop at one point because I have to play a game and record that for tasters and stuff. Today I'm going to be working on the main menu and showing you how to create it and all that sort of stuff. So I did try and record it earlier, it didn't quite work out, but I think I know what I'm doing now. I think. So I just created a new file. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to rename this to menu, change this to 1280, and if it would let me click this to 720, blaze it, and then click on the application up here and click on runtime options. Okay, now, right, so we click on window right here, this little computer screen. Then we change the size here up top to 1280 by 720, because that is the size that you see in the cameras and stuff when you're moving around and everything and looking. And then what we're going to do now is double click on the main menu thing up here, and we're going to start creating the menu. Now, first things first, we are going to create a active object. Let me try and do that again so you know what we're doing. Right, what you have to do is right click anywhere on the screen as long as it's in this window here. And then we're going to go to insert object, and the active object right here, you just double click it, and this little crosshair is where you go place it. So I'm just going to click on this thing here. That placed it in somewhere I didn't want it. Then we're going to double click on it. We're going to go to this icon up here, import, and then right here we're going to open up this image here. Now obviously, if you don't know what I've done, on the side is where all the files and stuff are. You click on one of these, so wherever your files are going to be. This PC shows up everything, so your desktop, document, all that sort of stuff. So if you saved it in your documents, you can go there and you'll find it there. That's just a load of stuff I don't need. But obviously, because I've saved it on my desktop and it's quicker and easier to do it this way, I'm just going to click on this icon here for desktop, and it is right here in the Fnaf tutorial. I will upload this once I finish fully editing it and making everything in it. Everything in it has to be like see-through and stuff that needs to be see-through. But this does have everything in, so I will upload it and put the link in the description of the video to get to it. So we need to go to menu, and we're just gonna double click on this one, so MB1, which stands for menu background 1, and we've got that. I could do import animation, but it's not an animation. We click OK. Then you see this little thing down here. This is the directions window. If we click on, so the first direction has this image in it. When we change the direction in any of these, it will go to any one of these. But down here we can add more directions. So when you go into the thing and try and add direction, when you try and select what direction it will point in, it will come up like this. But when you're in here, you can have it any size depending on how many directions you need. So in this we're only going to need 4. So we'll go with the 4 main ones, which are north, east, south and west. No, I went that the wrong way. North, east, south, west. There we go. So in east we have our first image. North, we're going to add our second image, which is this one with his mouth open and his beautiful jawline. Then we go down to west. I need to really work on my things and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so we go into number 3 for our next one, and we go down to the bottom and import the final one in south, which is the endoskeleton. And there we go. Now honestly, if you're importing your own images, I have a feeling there'll be a thing where it'll be like, oh, what do you want to not make invisible and all that sort of stuff. And that's literally just you going, oh, I don't want to make this go invisible and all that sort of stuff. What color? Well, actually no, it'll be what you want to make invisible, and it says black as default, but as you can see it's not invisible. So if you want something invisible, it's always best to use some sort of photo editor. Something I recommend is paint.net if you can't really buy anything, or you can use GIMP, which is like Photoshop but worse, and paint.net's kind of like Microsoft Paint but better. I use it a lot for making like pixel art and all that sort of stuff. There may be a point I end up showing that off, but since we're done, all you have to do is click the OK button in the corner, which is this one here. So we've got all our directions. Now what you want to do is you want to go here, Event Editor, click it, and we are then going to we're going to right click. Wait, if you want to know where Event Editor is, it's this thing here, right here. Look at where my mouse is, that's where it is. And it'll come up with this, well, it should come up like this. And then what we want to do is right click on New Condition, go to Storyboard Control, no, not Storyboard Controls, go to Timer, which is this little clock. I can't speak, I just can't speak. Click on Every, and we want to delete this in seconds, change 1 to 0, and down here we want to change this to 50. So every 0.50 seconds, even though I think that's 0.5, and if you actually wrote 5, it would be 0.05 seconds. Yeah, every 0.5 seconds, what we're gonna do is where our little background is right here. I might have to try and see if I can zoom in. Can I? No. Oh, my nose is itchy. Yeah, right here at the end should be our first icon, because we've got nothing else. You want to right click on the box underneath it, and go to direction, no, go to alternate values, set, and it should just come up with alternate value A. I know it doesn't say alternate, I just don't want to say that word because it's a tongue twister for me. We're gonna make it so it's a random range. Minimum will be 0, maximum will be 3, because we only have 4. 0 is 1. Basically the way it works is like 0 is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, and 3 is 4. That's basically what it is. It's kind of like a list in Python, except it's not Python, it's a lot simpler. So what we're going to do now is go to this number 2 right here on the next new condition, right click it, insert a group of events, and we want to make this to be called MB for menu background, and click OK. Well, or hit enter if you prefer that, but yeah. And then underneath it will come up with an indent, and this just shows that it's in a, if we wanted to, we could close this and it would hide everything inside, and we can open it and it will show everything inside. It's just a really easy way of sorting stuff. So what we want to do right here is we want to go new condition, right click it, and we're going to go and go to our little thing down here. Since we didn't actually name it anything, it's called active, and you can see that when you highlight over it. Right click it, ultimate values, this one, the top one of that, and it will say equal at the top. You want to keep it like that, and it will say 0. You leave it like that, and then that's done. Then you just want to drag this down 3 more times, double click on it, change this to 1, double click on the next one, change this to 2, double click on the next one, change this to 3, and then we've got that up. Now, what we want to do next is change, go to the on this row here, right underneath our active object, we want to right click it right here on this row, and you can see it's highlighted. So right click on that, and I just got to pause a minute. Alright, I'm back, guys. I just had to do a quick thing with the tumble dryer. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is, if you remember earlier when I told you to add the do the directions kind of thing, this right here is going to trigger that and change directions constantly. So every 0.5 seconds, this will pick a random number between, well, either 0 or 3, or between that, which is 1 or 2, and it will pick either of these because of that, because it's set to a random value. Each time the random value changes, the direction will change. So when it is at 0, the direction will be, so if you right click on this thing here that you can see is flashing, it will come up with this menu. Go to go to the direction right here, click on select direction, and you want it to just leave it like that. Now you can just drag this down, and all you have to do is do right click it and stuff. So this one right here where my mouse is, right click on it, go to edit at the bottom this time, and click up and turn that off. Click OK. And then underneath it where my mouse is again, we go to edit once again, and then we click right here and delete that. So on this bit here, then once again on the final one, we go to edit, down here and here. Now obviously, if you got more than just 4 or less than 4 of these, you will have used more or less directions, and as I showed you how to add more directions, all of these directions it's pointing was different things. So if I go to edit, so if I added 1 to it, what it would have added was this, 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 and this one. But at the start it was this, 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 and this, and that would have given me 6 to, wait no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It would have given me 8 directions to play with. But obviously I only needed 4, so I didn't add any. And if I were to add more again, it would add another 4, so 12. And after that I think it would add all of them. So that would add more than 4. I think it's like double 4, 8. So definitely won't be 16, it would be something else. But depending on how many images you have will depend on how many of these you have and the random numbers it can select between. If you've only got 2, it doesn't really matter. You can just do an animation then. You don't actually need anything. That you could do random if you were like, oh, it can pick this more and this more, so certain times things will stay longer and everything like that. But if we press play, now that we've done that, which is this up here, and it's on the other screen, you can see Freddy doing that to me. So you can see Freddy is just changing randomly. You can see it's like no specific order, he'll change randomly, sometimes he'll stay in a certain position for longer. See, you can see there he was in his stare straight at you for a while. It's really weird looking at it, it's like, oh my god, his head disappeared randomly. But yeah, that's all we have to do for that part. We're going to go back and we're going to itch my nose and we're going to right click here on the thing again, insert object, insert another active object, and we'll drag this down here. Oh, no, drag. There we go. Double click on it and go to import, and if I just drag this a bit, you can see I've got these. Now if you downloaded this from the website you get it, it comes from where you can get all the assets and stuff. These would all have a black background, and since this Collecting Fusion doesn't know how to make things invisible properly, it kind of breaks it and it doesn't work. So what I did instead is, if you download it from where I'm going to put from all the places from where I put it, so I think it'll probably be just in a Dropbox or something, or Google Drive actually, because that's a lot better than Dropbox. That doesn't crash as much. But then you can literally just get this as invisible. So if you're creating your own game but you still want this effect kind of thing, you can just get it from there. And it's simply named MS1. Don't mistake it for MSN or Microsoft. It literally just means menu static. But what you want to do is double click on the first one where it says MS1, ignore all the others. Import as animation up here is ticked already, but normally you'd have to tick this and it will come up and you've got these. Now if I click OK, that should import it as an invisible. Okay, that should not happen. I don't know why that happened, but it did. But since I can see that I can rub it out, all I've got to do is just drag it, delete, drag again, and delete. I can kind of still see that that's there, so there we go. And I'm just gonna have to go through this and do it with all the images. Actually, to be honest, I've got a better way of doing it. So obviously, since we've got all the frames now, what you can just do is click on frame 2, import number 2. Just gonna import it. It's see-through now. I just realized I messed that up. Let's try that again. So we're gonna import it as an animation again. Right, there we go. Now go back to frame 2, import, double click on frame 2, turn off import as an animation and click OK. And then do this for however many animation parts you have. I can't remember what it said here. I have 7, so we go to frame 4 now. It's really annoying why it does that. I don't know why it's doing that, but it does. It shouldn't do that, but whoever made this Collecting Fusion kind of messed that part up. I think they had just this one guy doing something and he was like, nah, I'm just not going to do this, I'm just going to leave this as what it is and it will just break everything. It's fine, no one's going to care. But I think it kind of makes game design go longer, so it kind of makes it feel like you're actually coding instead of not. So yeah, now we've got that. We've got all 7 frames. They may look like there's nothing there, but there is if you click on them. It's just because on the little icons the checkerboard pattern doesn't appear. So from frames, you can see at the top we have these tabs right here where my mouse is. There is a car outside. So you want to click on this one here where it says direction options. Click on it. My mouse didn't click then. Click on loop because we want it to go on forever, and change the speed from 50 to 20. I think that's what it was. I accidentally hit enter, so it kind of didn't do what I wanted it to. So if we press play now on this, once it loads up, so if we drag this over, you can see what it's doing right there. That looks really weird. I think I might have messed up one of the how the thing was working. Right, double click on this to open it again. Direction options. Let's change the speed to 10. I accidentally hit enter again. I'm just going to leave it and just let it run right now again. I might need to edit that a bit, because all it's we got this, then it does that, 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 then it does that. What? Why was it doing that random bit where it's just like expanding the line? Alright, so we have this, then we have this. Where's the center point? Ah, that's what it's doing. Okay, so if it's doing that, what you want to do is, if you click on this little icon here, this is the action viewpoint. Over here it will show up this little grid kind of thing. You want to click on the center block right here, and here as well. And you just got to flick through all of the frames and just do that, because what the thing program seems to do is it will look for the nearest, it will find the median of the actual viewed objects and go between them. So now if we play it, what it will do is it will still mess up, because it's not actually that, it's this hotspot thing instead. So it's the little eyeball icon, you want to click on that and just go through. That was a mistake on my behalf. Yeah, they get confusing sometimes, because you can't really tell where they are and which is which and all that sort of stuff. But once you've gone through and put the hotspot in the center for all of them, what it should then do is play perfectly fine. I think that's going a bit too slow, so we might have to up the speed a bit. If I click play now. Yeah, that will look fine once we add the other static on top of it. Okay, there we go, that's in the center. Now we have to add the next object in, and this is the static. Now the difference between the static and these two is that the static is a solid object that we are importing, but we will be adding a special effect to it. Now unlike the rest, this is not in the place that you'd think it would be. It's not in the menu, it's in other, camera, and it is down here in animation, and it's this one here, so it's called this static one, all that sort of stuff. If you have your own animations and stuff, if you want Click Team Fusion to register it as an animation, you want to make sure it's like, so it's kind of like this, or it's like static 1 and all that sort of stuff, and not with the brackets, because the brackets, it doesn't seem to count it, because once again it's a mistake on the creators of this thing's behalf. But as you can see, we've got it right here, imports animation. We don't want it going. Why has it only got 3 frames? What? Why are you importing only 3 frames? Let me just try and figure out something a minute. I might have actually messed it up. Where are you? There. Other camera animation. Oh, yeah. This should be static 4. No wonder. I was like, wait, I swear there's 8, and then it turned out there was 8. I just accidentally renamed one of them. That was the original static 4 to static 5. Rename 6, and then we've got this one is 7. So obviously when you get this, all the problems that I've had with this folder will be fixed, and that will be, I'll be doing that while I'm waiting for the video to render. So this one's 8, there we go. Now that should work a bit better now. So if we try and import again, go back with static 1, and it now says 8, that's brilliant. That loads them all. Loop. We want the speed to 30. I think that's what I had it on when I did it before. Yeah, that looks correct. So it's on speed 30, and you can see right now it's not see-through. You can tell that all of this is just completely solid. There's nothing see-through about it. What you want to do then is go to Event Editor at the top again, and we want to create, right click on the number 1, add new condition, and then it will be, no, not special, storyboard controls, start a frame. That is the completely wrong thing. Let me just try it down here instead then. So I clicked on number 8 there, but start a frame. I'm wondering if I can drag this up here. And yes, okay, I was able to drag the 1 and put it up to the top, so we've got that now. And what you want to do is go over to active 3, right click on it, or right click on the box underneath it in the start frame column, and go to it is in effect compatibility and set semi-transparency. Let me just drag this over here. So I believe 0 means it's fully, solid, so it's like what it is right now. So if we set it to 30, that would mean it's 30%. I'm not sure how that will look. Let me just play that and wait for it. I clicked play. What oh, it's not responding now. This is what used to happen. This is kind of why I stopped the tutorial, and I thought I fixed it, but no. No, that's not good enough. Okay, do not set it to 30. Let's edit this. Change it to 50%, I believe. I think that's correct, because that's half transparency. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Okay, so yeah, you can see that right there. What the hell is that animation doing in the back? That one there is too fast. Yeah, so we want to go back to, so if we click on frame editor right here, we'll go back here and you can see our little icons here. Double click on active 2, direction, speed, let's change that to 10. Okay, and let's try and play this again. I want to see if that's changed the speed. Yeah, so there you go, you can see that looks a lot better now. That is what the Five Nights at Freddy's menu kind of looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so now we can close that and we can put the rest of the stuff in. And before we do that, we are going to go here where the layers toolbar right here on the side is. Click this little pin icon right here, and that will pin it to the side, and we can see the layers all the time, and that's what we need. We're going to create a new layer on top of this, and this is going to be where we put the text and stuff and all the clickies and everything. So what we're going to do now is insert a new object, and this time it's a backdrop, because unlike the other 3, it's not animated, doesn't need different directions, it's just one simple image. And I bet you guys can probably guess what that image is. My computer made a weird clicky sound then. So we've got this right here, import. We go back to the menu, right here, and it is the one and the only title.png. And you can see it's black at the moment. It is not actually that color, it is white. We import that, and there it is. There is our friend, the title. And if we click play, even though it's on a different layer, and once it loads, I don't know why it takes so long to load, there's not that much to do. You can see the title's right here, perfectly fine in front of everything, standing out perfectly. And what we need to then do is insert another, actually, no. What we should do first, for sorting purposes, is change this one's name, which is our first object we inserted, which is Freddy. That's what we will call him. This we are going to call MS1, so that's menu static 1. And this one here we are going to rename to MS2, menu static 2. And backdrop we are going to rename to title. And for once I spelled it right. Then what we want to do is insert another backdrop, and this will go right here. Double click it, open it, import, and we need the new game button, should I say? This one right here. Open it, click OK, click OK, and here is the new game thing. We're obviously going to import another backdrop and put it right here. This will be the continue night button, which is right here at the top where it says continue. All of these I've named simple names so you know what they are and everything. That's too low, so there we go, it's right there. Insert another object, and this one is another backdrop. This one's going 2 down now, because this is night 6, and it is somewhere here. Yep, right there, 6th night. And we've got it right there. And we're going to import the final, and, well, not the final button, should I say, the one that you actually interact with. And that is, I just tried to insert another object by accident. That needs to be dragged up. Double click on it, and you can probably guess what this one is now. It is the well-known custom night, aka night 7. And that is the biggest button out of all of them. Yeah, I believe that's what it's supposed to be anyway. And we're going to insert the final backdrop that we need, which is connected with the continue button, and that is the it is somewhere here, night. There it is. So this is our night button, and you can see it's a little mini baby that we're gonna use the arrow keys to move down into the center and move it across with the arrow keys, because otherwise it snaps. And then we have it. That's all we need at the moment for the thingy. Actually no, there was one more I forgot. And once again it's going to be another backdrop. It is this right here. Let's put this in. Options, not options, import I mean. So we've got the arrow icon as well. We also need to move this along. There we go. And right there we have the arrow. And this is the thing, when you go into Finance Freddy's, you scroll along the options, it shows up here. When you go to continue, this shows up and the arrow's there as well. All that sort of stuff. These are invisible at the start. But we are not going to work on, actually, oh god. We are going to move this across by 1. Stop moving that. Right, I know that's gone up there. We're just gonna move this down. It's really, oh for God's sake, don't open it. It's really hard to maneuver these because the fact that you've got to click on the actual area that you can see. So the transparent area you cannot click on, it has to be the area that is actual whiteness and all that sort of stuff, just because they're bad at everything. Right, anyway, so that's the menu. We are going to, next episode I'm going to do a part 2 on the menu, finishing it off and adding a custom night menu that will not work until we get into, we've completed the regular nights and doing a night cycle and time and everything like that and saving the game. We are not going to touch the 6th night or the custom night until that has happened, and the custom night we're not going to touch until the 6th night is done. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you did learn some stuff from this episode. I'm hoping that this episode is a lot better than the last one I created when I did it before, where there was music and no one could hear. But I'm going to make sure I go through this at a steady pace, not rushing anything, so people can understand how to use this program, because if used correctly it can be pretty good and a lot of people can use it well. But one thing I must show you is if you Control S, you are able to save the program, and you can save this wherever you want. For the purposes of this tutorial I'm going to put it in the Fnaf tutorial and call it Fnaf tutorial game, and that is what it's called. And it should show up, yeah, there it is right there, it says Fnaf tutorial game. So I'll show you many more things and stuff that you can do, including this icon right here being able to change, so when you open the game it will show that icon down there. I'll show you all that sort of stuff, but for now this episode's over, so I will see you next time, and goodbye guys.